Hi, I'm Fuzz Townshend, and this is my beautiful, yes, beautiful Daimler Fleetline bus dating from 1969. Come and have a little look around it. Obviously we've got the entrance door here, but let's just take a look at the outside first. One of the features that I love about it is this unusual windscreen wiper setup. I'm a bit of a windscreen wiper nerd. Somebody has to be. There's one from the bottom here and one from the top, because that one is right in the driver's view, so that's good. And this one was put down here so the driver could look through here and see the curb. I don't see the point in it really, but anyway, that's what they did. And so, taking a look around here, we've got a nice big window with sliding panes here, which means that the driver can give hand signals. I am turning right. I am turning left. I am slowing down. All of those kinds of things were still current in 1969 when this bus was new. Then we have here the fuel tank. It's diesel. It takes a lot of diesel. That tank holds 45 gallons, so that's 45 times 4.55 litres of fuel. It's very expensive to fill it up. And you've been wondering what this is, haven't you? This is the fuel gauge. I put it in. I feel for the bottom of the tank. There we go. There's the bottom of the tank. And I remove it. That's how much fuel we've got. That's all right. We'll be able to go out for a ride. So, there we go. That's closed. Don't need that anymore. I will put it in the emergency exit. Oh, before I go to the emergency exit though, here we go. That is my odometer. That tells me how many miles this bus has done, or certainly how many miles this axle has done. I had to rebuild that axle a few thousand miles ago, and I can tell you it took a lot of doing. So you need friends able to lift buses up to be able to do something like that. That's one of the downsides of owning a bus. It's very difficult to work on. Let's put the fuel gauge in here. This is the emergency exit. If anything untoward happens, you can get out by flinging this door open using this device here, this lever. In here, there is an isolator switch, which means that you can switch off the batteries, meaning that the batteries are completely isolated and all the electrics are isolated. And here we have a neat little plug, because if you've got a fleet of buses and the batteries go flat, you can then plug it in to a trolley, a battery trolley, and give it a jump start. A neat idea. And here we have the vents for the radiator, which is at the side. Notice the water filler here. And then here is the engine and gearbox. This is a Gardner 6LX engine. The 6 stands for 6-cylinder, so it's a 6-cylinder engine, and it is 10.45 litres in capacity. So that's quite a lot actually. But it's only 150 brake horsepower. But it has a lot of torque. Torque is turning effort, and that's what you need with a bus. You need that turning effort. This here is the air filter. There's oil in it up to about this level here. So any dust and dirt sticks to the oil, then it goes up through a mesh and then out and into the engine. Again, it's quite a neat sort of idea. Right on the very end here, there's an air compressor, and that air compressor supplies the whole bus with air. So many of the bus's systems are operated by compressed air, such as the doors and the brakes, and of course the gearbox as well. So there's a lot of stuff that is responsible for. So here's our fuel pump, and it's remotely operated. So the driver's pedal operates this lever, And then that influences the governor here, which allows more fuel to be fed to the injectors and into the engine, so that allows the engine to go quicker. However, the driver doesn't have a direct connection to it, so the governor is always in charge of the fuel pump, which means that the engine can't over rev and therefore damage itself. And then here we have a start button. Do you want me to start it up? Here we go. There's a lot of weight flying around there, and various shafts that are rotating. It's a dangerous place in there. I did a lot of training on these buses to make sure that I didn't get into trouble with them. But even so, that is a dangerous place. So rather than me just running it up and running the danger of me just putting my hands in there, I'm going to put this back down. It's safer that way. So there's our engine and gearbox, rear axle again. And then this bus comes from a time in the late 1960s where fashion dictated, and yeah, I did say fashion dictated that 2 doors was better than 1. So a lot of cities started to specify their buses with 2 doors, an entrance at the front and an exit in the middle. Unfortunately, it was also the advent of one-person operation. So the driver was in charge of the passengers, in charge of the interior of the bus, as well as driving it. Before that, buses used to have conductors, so a second person who used to look after all the people in the bus and make sure that people got on and off safely. The driving was just down to the driver. So one-person operation came in. It's cheaper, you only need 1 person, so you're only actually paying 1 person to operate the bus. But these doors are a very long way away from the driver, and unfortunately, very early on there were a number of accidents that were fatal accidents, where people got stuck in the doors and the bus drove off and the person got dragged along. Very, very sad. And so what they did was they put an interlock system on here, so the door then would have to close before the gears could be selected. But those interlocks were dreadfully slow, so in practice all that happened was the driver said, don't use the middle door, come to the front and get off the front, completely destroying the whole principle of it. So in we get at the front. Today's buses have a low floor, a low entrance, so you can wheel straight in a wheelchair, or you can wheel your pushchairs and buggies in. But back in 1969, this was considered acceptable. 2 steps, 1, 2. Then we have the cab. We'll come back to that though. We'll come and have a look in a while. Inside, we have a fairly gloomy prospect. I'd like to call it atmospheric, but actually it's quite dark. Today's buses are very bright and they have white clean surfaces, whereas this one, well, this has yellow ceilings because it was the days when people used to smoke, so that used to mask the nicotine stains that used to go on the ceilings. Later buses had white ones. And then these red seats, I like them, and it has an aroma all of its own. Oil, plastic surfaces, metal, all kinds of stuff go into this, even wood. Upstairs, we have 47 seats. 47 seats, so 47 people being pulled along on the upstairs and 32 downstairs, plus 8 standing passengers if the driver wanted to allow that. That's a lot of people, a lot of souls to put in one place. And the bodies on these are actually quite flimsy, because what you do not want is a bus that will tip over. This bus had to be capable of being fully laden upstairs and then being able to be tilted to 28 degrees without falling over. That's quite a prospect. So if you imagine, to do that, the bottom half has to be very heavy and the top half has to be very light. There's an emergency exit at the back just in case something untoward happens. It's not a great way to exit a bus because, let's face it, if the bus is upright, it's quite a long way down. So let's go to the cab. So this is the office for the driver of late 1969. It's pretty rudimentary when you look at it. We have steering wheel, great big steering wheel, and not much in the way of instrumentation. We've got a speedometer, then we've got 2 air tank monitors here. That's all there is really. So in order to start it up, we use this master switch here. That's the start switch, pull that out, and now we have electricity going to the controls. Then we press the secret button. It is underneath here, and I press like so. And the bus hums into life. First thing we need to do is make sure we've got enough air, which we don't have at the moment. So we build up our air, and eventually we'll hear a psst as we reach full air pressure. It's going to happen soon. There we are. Right, we have full air pressure. Now, what we can do is select a gear. So it's a foot on the foot brake. We've got a big mechanical handbrake here. Foot on the foot brake. That's it. We are in first gear. But if you would like to see me driving this bus, you're going to have to check out the links in the description. So, thanks for watching. Now you know how to start the bus up. I hope that you don't come and find my bus and take it away from me. All right, thank you for bearing with me. It's been great showing you my bus. I love it. Why haven't you got one?